Hello YouTube, this is Keith Kevin Kent. How you doing? How you doing? Man, I hope you're doing well. It's time again for the knife of the day, and oh boy, I've got a new one. I got a package of 3 new Spydercos. When you see that number, if you're new to this channel, that number right there, number 23, I'm number 23 in the Spyderco Collectors Club. So we usually get most knives a bit earlier than others. This, my friends, is the most expensive knife I've ever bought from Spyderco. Now, I've spent some money on pristine older knives, and at some point we'll talk about those. There are on my channel, on the knife of the days, I've gone over knife by knife my collection. And this, my friends, is the Spyderco Paysan. The Spyderco Paysan by Peter Rosenti. The second, so yes, to find good, classic Spyderco knives, they can cost a lot. But the most expensive new knife from Spyderco that I bought, folding knife, was a Peter Rosenti Nirvana, which came out a couple of years ago. That is now retired. You can only get it on the secondary market. And at that point, when I got that, the MSRP, that's the manufacturer suggested retail price, the MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price for that knife was $740. And you bought it for about $430 or so. I get these prices from Blade HQ, but if you look around, they're pretty much around this. This one comes in at and by the way, no one sells any knives at the manufacturer's suggested retail price, okay? They just don't. I don't care if it's a knife, a gun, a couch, a car, okay? But it does give you value. So the Nirvana was $740 at 4, and so it was sold around $430. This MSRP for this, the brand new Spyderco just released Paysan, was $800. And you can start to see it when it comes to market everywhere at about $530. Okay? Now, let me tell you something. I said this about the first one. And out of the box, I wasn't a huge fan because it had stick. It had a lot of things. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And then, and I've done videos on it. And then, after using it for about, I don't know, a couple of weeks, it was smooth as silk. Okay. I've already trimmed the Nirvana, which means I sold it. So I don't have one handy to compare it with, but I do have a video on the knife of the day. So just go on that playlist and check it out. But this is the Paysan. And yes, it costs more. You guys are listening to one of the biggest Spyderco fans ever. And you know how on YouTube, they'll go, yeah, and smash Spyderco. I don't do that. I tell you my opinions. I pay for each and every knife that I show you. I get nothing for free. This is in my collection because I paid for it, okay? So, I think they're worth the price. The manufacturing, you're working off of a great custom knife maker to achieve a mass production knife, doing what you need to do to create this knife, and we'll go over that, costs money. So I get all of that. And obviously at that price point, they're not going to be selling these like the Para 3 and the Paramilitary 2, right? So I love that Spyderco stretches. I love the fact that they'll do a couple of very expensive knives to show you that they can. Now, um, I'm a huge Spyderco fan, but for years, for decades, people talk about Chris Reeve knives and how expensive they are and all of that. Let me tell you, you guys need to spend some time. I love Blade HQ. I have given them so much money for knives, it's unbelievable. And free plugs like I'm doing now. There are a lot of knives at the 350 and more. There are excellent produced Chinese knives at that. Okay? There are manufacturers I've never heard of, and neither have you, that sell knives for more than a plain Jane Sabinza. All right? The price for this, you can get a fancy Sabinza. Okay? You can get a carbon fiber Sabinza. You can get a plain Jane Sabinza and then buy a good $150 knife. So price is all relative. I'm happy I have that. This knife, I just want you to know that. All right? But it is worth the price for those who have the money to do it or like it. All right? I know I'm spending a lot of time on this because I know you guys are going to talk about it, and I'm getting down to the knife. Remember, this is digital. You can fast forward, scan and get to what you need to get to. But it's important to talk about that when you talk about a knife that stands out from all the rest from a source. Okay? So let's talk about it. Here's what is not on this knife that was on the Nirvana that drove me crazy. They had a gray coated blade. Hated it. Okay? And I think that caused some of the sticking problems, etc. This is a stonewash blade, S90V steel. S90V steel, great steel. And it's stonewashed, as you can see. I love that. And that's why once it gets past the pivot, look how smooth. This is literally out of the box 5 minutes ago. Okay? I came home from watching Endgame. Grown man sniffling. You know, the Avengers Endgame. Just saw it. Came home, there was a box of new knives waiting for me. So, big day for me. So let's talk about it. I love the blade, S90V steel. It's a Wharncliffe blade with a belly. And for me, this shape is so good. Very good for EDC. It's a full flat ground blade. The size of the blade is 3.9 inches. The edge is 3.7 inches. It has, it feels great in the hand. The Nirvana felt great in the hand too because it has this thin handle. I'll tell you why I always call things handles, and people go, they're scales. Well, in this case, and we'll talk about the handle later, you'll know why I call it a handle. But anyway, but yes, it scales, but we'll talk about that later. It feels great in the hand, has deep jimping that is so effective but does not bite into you. Have you ever had that super aggressive jimping? Now, if you had gloves on and other things, I get it. And sometimes it just bothers me. They really spent time on this. Now, one thing about the price that I want to say too, and one reason, because everyone's going to say, why would you spend all this money? I've seen the custom knives. I don't own one, but I've seen the custom knives. If you guys want to see reviews of the customs, they are on YouTube as well. You should check them out. For people who love custom knives, and they're a lot, very expensive. I have 6 of them because they're handmade and all of that. If I was into customs and I love Peter Rossetti, and a lot of people do, then to get a well-made production knife that feels and looks like the same at that price, it'll be a bargain. I would do that. So anyway, So let's talk about the handle. And this is a Resenti thing that is unbelievable. And the Nirvana had the same thing. They had so much going on. A coated blade. They had a 3D handle like this one, but they had a lot of texturing and everything. There was way too much going on. And so the production, one knife would be perfect, the other had huge problems, etc. But this is a manufacturing feat. Peter Resenti is known for using one piece of titanium for the entire handle. This is just one piece. That's why I call it a handle. You know, yes, it scales, but it's not. Usually you get two sides. This is one piece all the way, and it has a frame lock in it. It is so well done. So well done. And I think Spyderco does these kind of challenges to show off their manufacturing skills as a production knife maker. It's so impressive. And I love this so much because right out of the box, it works for me. Has a custom pivot. This is riding on bearings. This is riding on bearings, and you feel it. It is so smooth up and down. You guys know I don't flick my knives. It's not a religious thing or anything. I've just, all my life, have just opened knives slowly. So people who love to flip Spyderco or any knives, you're going to fall in love with this thing because it is so smooth. It's unbelievable. All right. I love it. Feels great in the hand. One piece. It has the frame lock that has a stainless steel insert in it to prevent the wearing down of the lock on the lock bar. Nothing special about the clip. Not a custom clip. It's one of Spyderco's clip. I personally, it feels great to me. It's not a big problem. If it was a custom clip, great. But if they save some money on the clip, that's cool. It seems to fit in okay. But for this price, it might have been nice to get a little custom knife. But I understand it's trying to make some money back. Look at the lanyard hole. I like that. Again, one piece. They cut out the lanyard hole there that you can put it through right there. Let's see. When it's closed, will it be hitting your lanyard hole? No. Should be okay. I'm sure as this knife starts coming out, you'll see a whole bunch of reviews, and maybe someone who's a big lanyard fan, you'll see if it does touch. But for me, I'm not a big lanyard fan. It's really nice. It's only right hand tip up only. Right hand tip up only. But like I said, it's right out of the box. So using it even more, you can hear when I do that, but it's not. It really isn't a problem with the lock. There's no lock stick at all. And it'll just be so smooth in a day or two. It's already smooth. It's just wonderful. That's it. I've been waiting for this. This was the masterpiece, in the 2019 catalog. This is the brand new Spyderco Paysan. Paysan from Peter Resenti. It's based on his custom knife. This is the second Peter Resenti. The Nirvana came out a couple of years ago. It has been discontinued. And beautiful knife if you got a wonderful knife. And after it wore in, smooth as silk for me. It went for, usually I don't talk about prices, but I think I need to tell you that it's a little high. The Nirvana was around $420, $430, depending on where you got it. This has a manufacturer, I hate saying that because no one sells it by the manufacturer suggested retail price of $800. But on Blade HQ, it's going for around $520, and it'll be about that for everyone else. If you like something super special from Spyderco, and if you're a Spyderco fanatic like me, you want to have the Paysan. You really do. From Peter Rizzenti. Give you a couple of knives, classic knives. This is the Para 2. And then here's my titanium military. So the blade is about the military size, but as you can see, the handle is a lot smaller, a lot thinner. Should fit well in the pocket. That's it. That's the Spyderco Paysan. I'm doing this late at night after watching a movie. I'm going to let it sit. This will be my, tomorrow's Friday knife as well. Usually I do Monday through Friday. I will have a special knife on Saturday, a brand new knife on Saturday, and I will have a brand new knife on Monday for Knives of the Day. Hey, I'm so happy to be able to share my knives with you. I appreciate you guys to no end. I didn't want to go to sleep even after watching a 3-hour movie and drinking. I didn't want to go to sleep without sharing this with you. I want you guys to be one of the first to take a look at it. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications. I will be doing I will be thinning out my collection. I don't know when, probably in a month's time. Appreciate all of you guys. Keep those pockets full. Goodbye.